In recent months, something strange has been happening across the United States. Comments like these are appearing more and more, flooding every video related to Lowe's. I hate Lowe's policy of returning pressure washcloths within 48 hours. I will not buy any major appliances from Lowe. I absolutely refuse to buy anything with a 48-hour return policy. And this isn't just a few people complaining. Behind these words are millions of consumers who are starting to turn away, leading to a sharp decline in Lowe's traffic and a series of stores falling into a slump. What could cause American customers who have been loyal to Lowe's for decades to suddenly declare they will never return? Behind those comments is a secret Lowe's never wants you to know. Today, we will investigate it. Secret 1. Product quality today. They don't make things like they used to. When reading the angry comments under Lowe's videos, one phrase repeats like a shadow. I will not buy any more appliances. Everything breaks down too quickly. If you only look at the 48-hour policy, you'd think the problem lies with Lowe's. But wait. Behind the sign that says no returns after 48 hours lies a silent crisis regarding product quality. One viewer recounted, their grandparents bought a Crosley refrigerator in 1933. It passed through 3 generations, changing from the grandparents' house to the parents' house, and finally to the grandson's own garage. 92 years, still running smoothly every day. Has never needed an overhaul. Meanwhile, many others admit it's lucky if a new refrigerator lasts 7-10 years. The washing machine and dishwasher, which were bought just a few years ago, are already malfunctioning. A 25-year-old Kenmore machine has endured even the days with temperatures over 38 degrees Celsius in the garage. Imagine this. In the past, you bought a refrigerator for a lifetime. Now the same amount of money is divided into 2 to 3 different purchases. Not only does it cost money, but it also wastes time, emotions, and risks losing or damaging items, spilling water on the floor, etc. From a modern MBA perspective, this is no coincidence. To reduce costs and increase profit margins, many manufacturers are replacing thick, heavy materials like solid steel with thinner plastics and alloys. Add circuit boards, screens, Wi-Fi connections, sensors. Each one is a potential point of failure. The product design is difficult to repair and replace parts, leading many people to simply buy a new one. That's what economists call planned obsolescence. Products are no longer designed to last 20-30 years, but to survive long enough until you're ready to pay for the next version. From a balance sheet perspective, that's recurring revenue growth. But emotionally, for consumers, it's the feeling. I'm not being respected like I used to be. Lowe's does not directly manufacture most of the equipment they sell. But in the eyes of the customer, the seller is also responsible. When a newly purchased refrigerator breaks down after a few days, customers don't call the manufacturer's board of directors. They went back to where they swiped their card, Lowe's. And when they received the answer, I'm sorry, it's been over 48 hours. The shock wasn't just in the number 48. It's compounded by the feeling that things aren't as durable as they used to be, and that the store isn't on your side anymore. Nostalgia for a 60-year-old refrigerator suddenly became a mirror reflecting disappointment with the present. Do you see yourself in those stories? Have you ever had an old item that was so durable it lasted forever, only to be disappointed with a new item that broke after just a few years or even days? Try sharing the record number of years your oldest device has lasted in the comments section. That number will show us how vast the gap is between the past and the present. And if the quality is declining, Why isn't Lowe's protecting its customers better? That's when the second secret emerged. The controversial story of the 48-hour return policy. How Lowe's shifted the entire risk of this quality crisis onto the buyers. We'll break it down right now. Secret 2. 48-hour return policy, the final straw. If Lowe's first secret lay in the increasingly fragile quality of its products, the second secret was the real trigger that caused millions of Americans to turn away. The 48-hour return policy. In recent weeks, we've reviewed hundreds of customer comments, and the most frequent sentiment wasn't praise, but rather blunt statements like, "I hate Lowe's 48-hour policy. I will never buy large appliances here again. 48 hours? No, thank you." Those words weren't just a fleeting emotion. They are signs of a deeper rift between consumers and the retail chains that dominated the DIY market for decades. A customer shares their own story. Specifically, he bought a refrigerator on Saturday afternoon because that was the only day he had free time to receive the delivery. On Sunday, after installing, cleaning, and stocking the food, he suddenly heard a strange noise. On Monday, he has to work and has an important meeting, so he can only return to the store on Tuesday to report the issue and request warranty service. But the answer he received was, "I'm sorry, it's been over 48 hours. 2 days, less time than a weekend, were used to decide whether you would be stuck with a device worth hundreds to thousands of dollars. For customers who live 30-60 minutes away from Lowe's by car or can only have installations in the evening, the 48-hour window feels like a time trap. Meanwhile, Costco offers 90 days. Amazon gives you 30 days. Many local stores even offer immediate exchanges in case of technical defects. No arguments, no delays. So why did Lowe's do this controversial thing? Delving into retail industry materials, we discovered a few clues. Major chains are under significant pressure from record high return rates. Newer equipment is more prone to failure, leading to a sharp increase in reverse logistics costs. Return fraud is becoming increasingly sophisticated, causing damage that is difficult to control. From a modern MBA perspective, reducing the return time to 48 hours for high-value product groups is a way to mitigate financial risk, a shield for profits. And from a business logic perspective, it makes perfect sense. But it was right here that Lowe's made its biggest strategic mistake. 48 hours isn't just a regulation, it's a message. Consumers don't see 48 hours as a technical figure. They saw it as a statement from Lowe's. If the merchandise is defective, that's your problem. We are not on your side. Please work with the manufacturer yourself. In an era where products are increasingly prone to malfunction, customers need to feel protected. But Lowe's did the opposite. They pushed the risk onto the buyer, leaving thousands of customers feeling abandoned. One user shared, "I refuse to buy anything with a 48-hour policy." Another person said, "New things are easily broken. At least I need the store to be on my side." That was the final straw. The 48-hour policy clearly separated Lowe's from the group of popular retailers, pushing them into the less flexible, customer-unfriendly category. What do you think? Have you ever encountered a similar situation when buying household appliances? Is 48 hours reasonable or unreasonable in this busy era? And this is the most dangerous secret we'll uncover next. If quality is declining and the 48-hour policy is turning customers away. So, what is Lowe's doing with the very brands they sell? We'll move on to the next secret. Lowe's is abandoning both its brand ecosystem and professional contractors, which is contributing to millions of customers leaving for good. Secret 3. Lowe's abandoned the brand, abandoned the contractors, and abandoned its own customers. If the first secret exposed the decline in product quality, and the second revealed that Lowe's was shifting risk onto customers, this secret would expose a much larger crack. Lowe's was inadvertently abandoning its very lifeblood, its partner brands, professional contractors, and core customer communities. And this is the fatal blow that caused millions of Americans to leave. During the investigation, we received a series of similar responses. Flex was missing from the shelves, despite having once been considered a rising star. The tough-built rollout failed, and the supply chain was unreliable. Skill 20V has almost disappeared from the Lowe's website. Many display shelves are completely empty, dusty, and no one is checking the goods. Customers described the scene as a display from a store that was slowly closing. Brands, which need light, display, and demos, are being pushed into the shadows. Some professional workers even bluntly said, Lowe lost Flex right in their own store. This is no longer an inventory issue. It's a clear signal that Lowe's is not protecting its brand ecosystem. And when a store abandons a brand, customers will ask, if they don't respect the brand they sell, will they respect me? In every retail sector, there's a special type of customer, the pro customer. Frequent buyers, those who purchase in bulk and are willing to spend more for stability. This used to be the backbone of Lowe's, but now the workers reflect that. The goods are even. Pins and accessories, sometimes available, sometimes not. Warranty policy lacks flexibility. 48-hour return, completely unacceptable for everyday tools. Specialty brands are not displayed properly. A worker shared, I use Makita, I use DeWalt, I use Milwaukee, but I can't rely on Lowe's anymore. For a craftsman, time is money. A broken, out of stock, or non-exchangeable item can directly impact a project worth thousands of dollars. And they chose the simplest solution. Go to Home Depot, where there's always plenty of stock and better support for pros. Once this group of customers leaves, Lowe's not only loses sales, but also disrupts the store's rhythm. The bigger issue lies in emotions. When a brand is abandoned, workers are abandoned, customers are abandoned, the community loses trust. It's a chain of domino effects. One customer said, Flex disappeared. Tough Built disappeared. The shelves are empty. I went into Lowe's and it felt like they didn't want to sell to me anymore. Another customer wrote, I choose local stores. They care about me. Lowe's doesn't. Widespread skepticism. Is Lowe's gradually abandoning the DIY market? Do they want to reduce costs by cutting services? Or do they prioritize profit over genuine experience? Those questions were not answered by Lowe's, but customers answered them themselves through their actions, leaving Lowe's. Have you ever felt like a store wasn't for you anymore, the way it used to be? In your opinion, what makes customers leave faster? Lack of branding, lack of service, or lack of respect? Please share your perspective. Many people are experiencing similar situations, and all these secrets, poor products, strict policies, abandoned brands, lead to a larger conclusion. These are no longer small mistakes. This is a sign of a profound change taking place within Lowe's. The wave of abandonment. What Lowe's doesn't want to say. When analyzing market data, we observed a concerning phenomenon. Customer visits to Lowe's stores decreased by 3.6%. Average transactions decreased by 3.7%. And some underperforming stores have begun to close. And more seriously, Thousands of comments claim, "I will never go back to Lowe's again." At first glance, 3 to 4% might seem small, but imagine if a store receives 100 customers each day and now loses 3 to 4 customers. But if the entire system of nearly 2,000 stores loses that many customers, you're looking at tens of thousands of customers disappearing every day. That's no longer a natural oscillation. That's a deliberate trend of leaving. The scariest thing isn't angry customers, but they silently left. There was no widespread boycott campaign. There was no major media crisis. Just one by one, family by family, they quietly moved elsewhere. They chose Costco because of the 90-day return policy. I chose Amazon for convenience. I chose Home Depot because they serve contractors better. Choose a local store because you're treated like a real customer. What Lowe's is losing isn't money. That's trust, an intangible asset, more valuable than any marketing campaign. In the comments we gathered, there was an overarching sentiment. Lowe's is becoming increasingly indifferent. I am not respected. The store now feels more like a robot than a human. And here's the biggest problem. Lowe's used to be the destination for DIY families. The place you'd go to buy weekend paint, change light bulbs, and fix a little corner of your house. But now, in the eyes of many, Lowe's has become a place where goods are unstable. Empty, dusty display shelves. Strong brands disappear. Strict policy. Employees are not authorized to provide much assistance. From a store for every home, Lowe's has become a place where no one wants to risk buying large items. But why are they happening all at once? In a difficult economic climate, consumers are hesitant to spend money on large items. I want certainty. I want flexible returns and exchanges. Want the store to be on your side. But Lowe's went in the opposite direction, tightening policies, reducing flexibility, and not addressing the root cause of product quality issues. That choice made customers feel, Lowe's is no longer for me, and that's it. They left. Have you ever experienced this feeling with another brand? Have you ever just silently walked away because you felt unappreciated? Share your story. You're not alone. But the more important question still lies ahead. Where will Lowe's go? Is this a minor blip or a turning point marking a long-term downward cycle? We will decode this in the next section. So, what will the future of Lowe's look like? After following every lead, from declining product quality and the controversial 48-hour policy to the silent exodus of customers, the final and most important question emerged. Where is Lowe's headed? Can a slight slip be remedied? Or is this a sign of a prolonged decline, just like Sears, JCPenney, and other once invincible giants? To answer, we must look at the 4 biggest scenarios awaiting Lowe's. First, Lowe's may be forced to unlock the policy because reputation is more important than cost. In the short term, the 48-hour policy helps Lowe's reduce the risk of return shipping costs. But in the long run, it's eroding brand value, like a small dam gradually being eroded by each stream of water. It's not out of the question that Lowe's will have to relax its policy by 7-14 days, be more flexible with technical error cases, increase processing rights for store managers. Simply put, no one can survive if customers no longer want to return. Second, Lowe's could strongly pivot toward the professional contractor segment, targeting Home Depot's strongest area. The pro customers group is the industry's largest source of recurring revenue. But right now, this group is leaving Lowe's in droves. If Lowe's wants to turn things around, they must reinvest in strong brands like Makita, DeWalt, and Milwaukee. Resolve the shortage situation. Ensure batteries, accessories, and tools are always in stock. Rebuilding the Pro program to be more realistic. Do you think Lowe's can still win back this customer group? Or have they been completely taken over by Home Depot? Third, Lowe's is revamping its operating model, focusing on service and in-store experience. For years, Lowe's pursued cost and inventory cuts. But when customers complained about dusty, empty shelves, indifferent staff, and constant stockouts, that model had reached its limit. To regain trust, Lowe's may need to invest heavily in employee training, reestablish brand display, improve inventory checking process, replenish stock shift from selling products to selling experiences. In this era of fierce competition, experience is the true competitive advantage, or Lowe's will become the next Sears if it doesn't change in time. Sears was once the #1 retail empire in the United States. They didn't collapse because of a specific scandal. They declined because of slow adaptation, gradually losing customers without realizing it. And the first signs of the Sears of yesteryear are faintly visible at Lowe's today. Traffic is down. Transactions are down. The brand is leaving the shelves. Customers are leaving silently. Lost the trust of professional workers. Will Lowe's have enough time to turn things around? Are you currently embarking on a path that many major players have taken before? It's important to remember that the American market is always fair in a very harsh way. Whoever doesn't respect their customers will be left behind by them. And once trust is broken, it rarely mends. Conclusion. And that's the whole picture behind Lowe's dirty little secret. From declining product quality and the controversial 48-hour policy to the silent exodus of customers. Ultimately, the story isn't just about Lowe's, but also reflects something more important. Once consumer trust is lost, it's very difficult to regain. What do you think? Does Lowe's still have a chance to come back? Or are they following in the footsteps of retail chains that have collapsed in the past? Please share your perspective in the comments. I'd love to hear stories from your real-life experiences. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next analyses. This video is intended solely for providing a perspective and a summary analysis based on publicly available information. The content is not accusatory or absolutely conclusive about any organization or individual. See you in the next video.